Boom. Hello, everybody. Ooh, what a morning. So, fun fact, my Twitch channel was attempted to be hacked into. Which, I mean, I feel like that kind of stuff happens all the time. Hi, hello, everybody. Oh, yeah, the glasses are because I didn't feel like putting my contacts in. Everything is okay. Someone tried to hack in with the correct email and password combo, but this is why you have two-factor authentication, kids, because I got the alert, stopped anything from happening, changed my passwords, it's all good. But that means that everything, including OBS and everything that I used to stream with, had to be recalibrated, and it was just giving me so many problems. Thank you for subscribing, Emily Lunsford. It's good to see you. Hello, everybody in chat. Oh, goodness. Hello. Hi, Vanaglorious. Hi, Phoenix Goth. Cloud, good to see you. Hello. Not always weak. Always great to see you. Okay. Very excited for this week. I'm going to be starting Coteries of New York. This is the newest game, the video game that has come out from Vampire the Masquerade. Oh, thanks for subbing, Cloud. I have no information about this game. I don't know, and that's on purpose. I don't know what it's like or what's about to happen. I'm very excited to discover it together. Okay, that being said, let's jump like Nick Arcade into the game itself. Whoa! First, I have to start it because this was a rough start. Okay. I've been very curious about this game. Me too. And it's taken every effort not to just go into it. Okay. Please be working. That's all I ever want. Going in blind too. Nice. Yeah, I think that both Alex Ward and Josephine McAdam have been playing on their channels as well. There it is. Can you hear it? I can hear it. Love it. I don't know what she's about, but that apple, that's probably human meat. Bronze has as well. Great. All right, let's do this. New game. Let me know if it's too loud, too soft. Whatever we want to do. Ooh, we get to pick a clan. Oh no, there's a lot of pressure right away. Okay, there's only 3 to choose from. So we've got Bruja, the rabble rebel against power and rage against authority, a seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. Teeth! Ventru, the aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. No Malkavians! I know. Toreador, the divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst the stagnant undeath. Out of those 3, Toreador looks the most fun to me. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the chat. I'm watching. Divas? I mean, come on, yeah. We got some Ventru votes. She looks really cool. Diva, 100% Toreador. Roses? Okay. I do like the Ventru. And the Brujas, okay. The safety pins in the ears, that's a choice. Let's do Toreador. Roll a d3. Choose a name. Okay. My first instinct was to do Hollyhock Dogberry, but that's different clan, different game, different world. We have to think of a new name. Toreador. A Toreador that... let's see. Frangipani cat fruit. Well, I think that... Well, let's tone it towards something that's more Toreador-like. But maybe still in the same vein. Like, okay, hollyhock is a plant, right? So maybe something... Rose is a little on the nose. But something like that, like ivy could be kind of cool, or dandelion. Daffodil. Belladonna. Foxglove. Ooh, foxglove is really cool. Let's just go with foxglove. Right? Because dogberry, they're both plants. Dogberry, is that just made up? I don't even know. Foxglove is pretty cool, and that's my Toreador name. Except. I'll let you think for a second. This is a big decision for you too, computer. Don't crash out on me now. Oh no! Oh, we're fine. Oh great, there's no voice acting. Okay, here we go. Foxglove is a pretty purple flower. In small doses used to treat heart attacks / weak hearts. In large doses, it's lethal. That's great. Thank you. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit, that we are all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen for a little longer. You see, my mistake was I flew too close to the sun. Thank you. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in the eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within me and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided it would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred, just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed showing me a peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Hello, everybody. Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying, you're eternally doomed to being at the mercy of sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. ... You might have wondered how I'd learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer was, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today would happen to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you've never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much. Don't get that wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I'd trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think you won't get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about the other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. You stifle a yawn. It's been a slow evening. The little bit of red liquid left in your glass and the crumbs on the plate remind you that, if nothing else, these art exhibitions at least come with some decent wine and legit catering. And yeah, it's fun to talk about your work on display, even if you end up discussing it with pretty much the same people at each occasion. You've already met the one critic who keeps telling you, with self-assured authority, how you should pursue a different artistic avenue. Then there's the obligatory doe-eyed art student who's oh so impressed with your technique. To be fair, you're not all that happy with your latest piece, but hey, it's not the worst thing you've seen tonight. That ignoble, dubious honor belongs to one of the other paintings on display. And yet, its author, currently being paraded about by his rich parents, has barely been able to grab a bite of the fancy canapes. So many sycophants to meet, so little time. Thank you. For a moment, you think that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you should take the critic's advice, cut your losses, sell out to some corporation and get it over with. And, as if the universe wanted to validate that train of thought, that's the exact moment your sister Emma decides to pop up in your view. So let me get this straight. Cushy corporate jobs are selling out, but supporting a billionaire's vanity project is totally fine with you? I am. You absolutely despise her as an artist. While you're struggling to uphold some nebulous ideals of what art is meant to be, she's perfecting her ways of mooching off the system. Shamelessly preying on little-known street art and niche internet memes, she repackages them as bourgeois-friendly collages. So it's perhaps no wonder why the New York Times has recently dubbed her a mind-blowing explorer of digital art's extreme possibilities. But in spite of all that, you absolutely love her as a person, even as you welcome her by smacking the back of her head, a gesture meant to convey nothing but deep affection. She's Banksy. No, but seriously, supporting young artists, my ass. I don't know what kind of money you got for this piece, but I doubt it was even a fraction of what's going to be worth in tax benefits. The gallery owner actually said that if he had to choose his most valuable audience, it would be the IRS. And I'm pretty sure he was only half kidding. You mumble a non-answer and then segue into a different subject, trying to preemptively quell her repeated offers to get you a steady job. Of course, she proves as insistent as ever. You know, sometimes I just don't get you. On the one hand, you wouldn't be caught dead taking money from inevitable winner of culture wars. On the other, if you gave some to the chance to collaborate on some dumbass Oscar bait flick sponsored by Larry Ellison's bailout fund, you'd do that shit for free. She rolls her eyes and asks, you know what the only difference is between the art scene and the culture industry? The culture industry actually pays your bills. As expected of someone who's given up on attempts to infuse her work with any sort of enduring quality and decided to just keep responding to the zeitgeist. Yikes. You shouldn't have a segue in the art gallery. Very true. Hey, Critter Nation 3000. She claims to happily accept the fact that after she dies, both she and her work will end up in a landfill. Wow, deep. When you respond that you prefer chasing a 1 in a million chance to immortalize yourself, she claims it reeks of an overinflated ego. But you've been down this road too many times before and managed to accept she'll never understand what's truly important to you. Slowly but surely, you move on to more agreeable topics. Your plans to finally get hammered together, or the most recent crop of garbage Netflix shows your friends have tricked you into trying out. Too true. Alright, I gotta go. I got a date. She peeks out at a bunch of middle-aged men in expensive suits who have stopped pretending to care about the exhibition and are exchanging the worst lecherous jokes they've got in their stale repertoire. Have fun with your friends, class trader. She gives you a hug and heads for a nearby elevator. There goes the pleasant part of the evening. Still, you decide to delay the inevitable and catch a quick smoke break. Truth be told, people aren't exactly lining up to chat about your work anyway. As you leave your post, you start tapping your pockets in search of a lighter. Instead, you find a $100 bill you're absolutely sure wasn't there before. Jesus Christ, Em, you're the worst. And the best. You can feel your cheeks turn red, but you gratefully put the money in your wallet and move outside. When you reach the balcony, you look out at New York City and light the second last cigarette left in the pack. You're alone. It's not silent. The metropolitan hum is ever present, even this high up. But it's a good deal more intimate than what's behind your back. You lean over the railing and look down. The streetlights beckon more than usual. In your mind's eye, you see yourself as your final artwork, beautifully splattered all over the pavement. Working title, Delusion of Grandeur. The author, a brilliant artistic soul crushed by unfeeling reality, gone too soon. You chuckle and flick the cigarette into the air. Freshened up by the night's cool breeze, you squeeze back into the stuffy interior. You barely make it a few steps before the lethargy sets back in. It's like you never left. Still, something in the room feels different. Your eyes are drawn to a handsome young man, neatly dressed and groomed, exuding the air of a true artiste. And the best part? He's intently looking at your painting. The gallery is almost like an art installation itself. Now, people are standing in silent awe. The guy like a beacon drawing everybody's attention. Hushed conversations about the guest can be heard from every corner of the gallery. Your heart is pounding with excitement, and you approach, feeling like a kid trying to get close to a deer in the woods, but afraid you'll scare it away. The man turns to you, and you stop in your tracks, entranced. So this is one of your pieces? You manage to mumble an affirmation. Tell me about it, please. As you start discussing your inspiration, technique, and process, the man's eyes lock onto the painting again. He keeps interjecting, making knowing remarks. This guy gets it. He really gets it. The world around you disappears. You'll say anything, do anything to keep his attention on you, but you realize you don't need to. He's into your art. He's into you. I want to buy it, and I want your company. I need to talk to you. You will like what I have to say. Spoken matter-of-factly, served straight up, like he knows that you won't refuse, that you can't refuse. An hour later, you find yourself at his apartment. One of many, you presume, with your self-esteem all but patched up and your head full of fine vintage. You tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Where you came from, how you ended up in NYC, how you had to take out a loan to appear on tonight's event, how you took the long look down the balcony, that you thought about taking the plunge, and this time you were only half joking. You feel miserable. You start crying. He holds you in his arms. You feel calmer. The tears stop flowing. It's been so long since you last had someone you could not just talk to, but communicate with, be seen by. Who knows? Maybe there is hope for you yet. That feeling of bliss is the last thing you remember before passing out. Next thing you know, you're lying on the couch in that same apartment, hungry and dehydrated. How long has it been? Hours? Days? More? You're feeling weak, confused, abandoned. You look around in a panic. Is he still there? Thank God, yes, there he is, standing in the doorway. His voice breaks the silence and fills you with hope until you realize what he's saying. I'm so sorry. I hope that maybe one night you will forgive me. Always remember that in our parting moment I wished you well. You try to speak, ask him to stay, but no voice leaves your parched throat. You taste something on your lips. Wiping your mouth leaves a crimson stain on your hand. It's not the wine. What the fuck? The door of the apartment closes behind him. Alone. Again. Then the pain hits. It's a headache. A lurching in your stomach, a burning in your arms and legs. It's all you can focus on. A panic takes you. You fall from the sofa and hit a wine glass. It flies off into the wall, shattering into bits. A mumble from the corner of the room indicates that you're not alone as you thought. From where you're lying, you only see a feminine shape, stirring awake. You crawl towards the woman. Inch by inch, the pain turns into an urge. You need to get closer to her. You begin to see details, the long hair shrouding her face, the worn-out NYU hoodie thrown over her skimpy peach-colored dress. She opens her eyes, moves her locks to the side, exposes her neck. A rabid instinct takes you. In the blink of an eye, you find yourself buried in her hair, smelling her sweat, mixed with just a hint of cheap perfume. You bite down and drink the blood from her vein. Wait. What is happening? You break away. You look at the girl. She lets out a sigh, goes limp and unconscious again. You try to crawl back, her dress rolled up to the side, and you glance at her naked thigh. You lose control again. Bite her leg. Drink deep from the artery. It's intoxicating. It's bliss like you've never known before. It's beautiful. You break away again, fall to your back. What the hell was that? Did you really drink her blood? She's not moving. Oh God, she's not moving. You check her pulse. She's cold to the touch. Nothing. No heartbeat, no sign of breathing. That's when it hits you. Your chest isn't moving either. Your heart is not beating. You are cold to the touch. You reach for your phone. It's not there. Where did you leave it? Or maybe he took it? Impossible to say. You stumble around the apartment, but find nothing you can use to call for help. You need to get out of here, now! You look outside the window. You're high above the streets. There's no balcony, and the building's exterior is glass almost all the way down. You'd never survive the jump. But maybe that's precisely why you should leave the room this way. You've just killed somebody. Your life is essentially over. A sickening void is opening in your stomach, warning you that your reality is about to turn into unbearable hell. A voice in the back of your head tells you that the smartest course of action is to take the leap before it does. And the more you argue with it, the more reasonable it sounds. You're just about ready to pick up one of the chairs and try to break the window when you hear the clicking of keys in the lock. You freeze in place. This is bad. Your thoughts start racing desperately, but instead of a rational course of action, only visions of false hope come to your mind. What if it's him? What if he's had a change of heart? What if he sent someone for me? You almost feel your heart beat again with excitement as the doors open. Almost, but not quite. A man enters, but not the one you expected. He's tall, broad-shouldered, handsome, with darkish skin. His suit is stylish and immaculate. You've never seen him in your life, but you immediately see past his sharp looks to see his sharper nature. He is a predator, and if you're not careful, you might become his prey. Good evening. I'm here to pick you up. A deep, emotionless voice. He turns his eyes to the lifeless body of the girl in the purple NYU hoodie and raises an eyebrow. Oh gosh, okay. Wow, this is intense. And yes, I am not sure if the suicide stuff is over, but I think that was a claim to justification for killing him, this character, maybe. But it might be the end of that, maybe. Who are you? I killed her. This isn't what it looks like. Who are you? I'm the ferryman, here to take you to the other side. He approaches the bed to examine the corpse from up close. Well, this is unfortunate, but preferable to going insane from hunger. Quite a nice gesture, actually, if troublesome. He briefly looks at you with something like pity in his eyes, then changes his expression to a perfectly blank one. Listen, you may perceive your current situation as something out of the ordinary, but I've met hundreds of lost sheep like you, and you see, they tend to fall into two categories. First, there were the smart ones, those who carefully obeyed my every word and didn't pull off any stupid stunts. They always got where they needed to go safe and sound. Then there were the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, a lot of them never reached their destination at all. The man talks in a bored, professional tone, giving off an impression that he really has delivered the speech countless times by now. So you see, despite being a smart person, I'm a Mets fan. I love baseball. And it inspired me to come up with a 3-strike system to determine if someone is dumb. If you get on my nerves 1 or 2 times, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful circumstances. But if you do it 3 times, understand that there will be no excuse, no forgiveness, no mercy. His presence changes ever so slightly. Say, "I understand, sir," now. You feel an overwhelming, barely resistible urge to fulfill his demand. Ooh, I could say, "Fuck you, sir. I understand, sir," or "What are you talking about?" "I know better. I understand, sir." Excellent. Oh, I wonder if you had selected any of the other options, if he was using an ability, that it would make you say, "I understand, sir." Oh, interesting. All right. Have you got anyone you'd like to inform about your current situation and tell them you're all right? He flashes his fangs briefly as he talks, and for some reason that sight causes a chill to run down your spine. Something's wrong with him. Someone closest to you. My sister, lie, or run away, run away, run away. Let's try lying and see what happens. His name is Eduardo. He's my boyfriend. He lives in Queens. He's a barista, and the stranger's been watching you with wary eyes since the moment you started talking, but only interrupts you at the first moment of visible hesitation. You're 100 years too young to try and fool me, whelp. Even your tells have tells. First strike. Oh gosh! Try again. Okay, yes, baseball. Remember, no striking. Okay, here we go. Your first instinct is to protest, but you realize your thoughts are still too scrambled and panicked to come up with anything coherent. You give up on all planned attempts to provide poor Eduardo with convincing psychological depth. Emma, my sister. She's probably having a night out in Brooklyn with her artiste friends. Can I call her now? You take out your phone while asking the question. He shakes his head and points at the hooded corpse next to him. If you want to implicate her, go ahead. I think we'd all better off if you let me make sure that she only knows what she needs to know. Yeah, agreed. Give me her phone number. I'll have someone get in touch with her. Didn't the game tell you a few minutes ago that you haven't any phone? Yeah, I think so. You oblige and hand him the smartphone. Oh, maybe. So he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Thanks for the cat purrs, Hershey. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this night onwards, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up with, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. Now I don't have a phone. You're forbidden from letting anybody know that you're still alive. You're forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes to search for you, it's over, both for you and them. Yikes. He interrupts his monotone recitation to stare deep into your eyes. So if you don't want someone to find your poor sister's body in the Hudson River next week, cooperate. The sight of his fangs again, and another physical fight-or-flight response. You've played right into his hands, putting M in danger. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. By now you are absolutely sure he's just toying with you, provoking you just to feed on your reactions. He hasn't told you where you're going yet, but he's already made it abundantly clear that there are a lot of people struggled hard to avoid getting there. You'd be far more eager to cooperate if he never raised the subject, but he made it a point to make you fear the unknown. He's pushing you, but to what end? Does he want to intimidate you into complete submission? Is he hoping you'd give him an excuse to get rid of you? Or maybe he's testing you, forcing you to show what you're made of. Somehow he makes all of these options seem plausible at once. All right, I think that's enough lectures for today. He takes a glance at his silver watch. It's a Patek Philippe, the kind of brand mere mortals would never see outside of luxury lifestyle magazines. Just who are you dealing with here? It's past 3 a.m. now. The sun will come up in just a few hours, so we don't have much time. Come, we need to leave so that the corpse can be taken care of. He turns his back to you to unlock the door. Head out, attack him from the back. Oh gosh, I'll wait for the police. Head out. Do not attack him from the back. That's a death sentence. I'll wait for the police and get caught? Okay. You obediently follow him out of the room. Before he locks it again, you manage to take a final glimpse of the corpse. You feel a pang of conscience, but not because of your victim's horrible fate. It's because you didn't feel guilty even though you know you should. Something important inside of you that was still there yesterday has definitely died tonight. You wonder if you'd even recognize yourself in the mirror. The stranger shows you to the elevator. You go to the ground floor. During an awkward ride, your dazed and confused mind desperately searches for a glimmer of hope and eventually comes across one. Maybe you'll find the man you met earlier this night. Aw, I'm smitten. Who was that man? What happened to that man? What did that man do to me? Let's try that. Why did that man target me? What was their motive? That's what I'd like to know. As of yet, he is unidentified. They have left no trace, and it's obvious they are not planning to come back for you. If, and that is a big if, you ever see them again, it will be tomorrow, and probably for the last time. I want to see him. For the last time? Escape into the streets? That's dumb. I want to see him. This compulsion is natural, but for now I can only say this. It lies in his best interest to never see you again. Uh-oh. The elevator door opens into an empty hall. You walk outside past the night guard's post, which is empty. The cold night air reminds you of the balcony just a few hours ago. The man motions to a black Cadillac Escalade. Take a seat in the back, please. You get inside. The man closes the car door behind you. You hear a click as it locks. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without comment. Man, those piercing eyes, though. Yikes. Where are we going? Am I drugged? I feel horrible. Yeah, let's do some sharing statements. I feel horrible. As you should. He gives you a little side glance in the rearview mirror and bites his lip. Forgive me, I'm not in a talkative mood. This won't be a long drive. Patience. Dead silence fills the car. You close your eyelids and sink back into your thoughts. A blurry after-image of the man who bought your painting is still there. It's strange. You never felt this way about anybody. It makes you happy, even though you have that nagging thought that there's something fundamentally abusive about this attraction. But then the girl's hair spilled over the purple hoodie, and her blood spilled over the cold floor come into sharp focus. You wince. You want to cry, but it's as if there were no more tears left in you. After what feels like an eternity, the car comes to a stop. You get out in an underground parking lot. It's an ugly, concrete gray thing. Empty, but for the car you came in. It looks like there's a room beyond the metal door in the wall. Guess you'll live to see another night. Follow me. He opens the metal door and leads you inside. Here we are. These are your lodgings for tonight. If you get hungry, again, Take a look in the fridge. Tomorrow I will come pick you up. The cramped room has no windows, just a simple bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge, and a rattling AC fan in the wall. It has all of the coziness of a solitary prison cell. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. I need medical help. I'm not going in there. Mercy, please. Okay. Claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. I need medical help. I can't feel myself breathing. I can't sense my heartbeat. I need to go to a hospital, man. You're gonna be fine. Listen, normally I'd lose my nerve right about now and things would get nasty, but I get it. You're scared. You don't understand what happened. Trust me, you will learn more tomorrow. But now I need you to rest. And you need you to rest. You need you to rest. He gestures inside the room. Finding no more willpower to resist, you step inside. The stranger nods contentedly. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very secure and sturdy. You open the fridge. Uh-oh, no. There's a single plastic bag there filled with red liquid, unlabeled. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Best leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame, kind of grimy and damp. Seeing it makes you grimace, but you're just too tired not to lie down. Your entire body hurts, a dull feeling that makes you feel heavy. You feel vulnerable. You feel vulnerable and lonely. Usually when that happened, you'd turn your attention to painting, just to not think about the alternative. Your family upbringing left you with no skills but artistic talent. Creating art used to be something of an unpleasant duty. Somewhere along the line, though, it became the only weapon you had to fight with the existential despair. Some of your best work was created in lieu of impotently crying in bed. Hell, you're pretty sure a few of these pieces had your tears mixed in with the paint, like the painting that led your whole night to this. You look back at your life, and it starts looking like a downward spiral. You are so tired. Your entire body tenses up, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on, the AC is rattling, and the refrigerator is still humming. Take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You've slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you are certain about one thing. You are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it is soup, then its color and texture are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint, and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating, but now it's almost... No, not almost. It is enticing. Put the bag back, or drink the blood. Drink the blood. It feels wrong, but right now there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of the liquid into your mouth. It tastes bland. Reminds you of cheap supermarket juice. Hey, cheap supermarket juice. That's what I'm drinking. Today it's mango. Just enough flavor to register as what it claims to be on the box, but nothing like the real thing. Nothing like what you had last time. You swallow it. Ooh, that noise. Somehow you don't feel sick. In a weird, messed up way, you can't help but think it feels nourishing. You take a few more sips. And just another one. Suck on the bag a little more. Eventually, you find that you've emptied it entirely. You look at the info pressed on the side of the bag. 450 milliliters of it? Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. You realize your body longs for that intoxication high you felt when an image of that corpse crosses your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? You try to piece your thoughts together, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is a well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So like a tame talk, maybe. Good evening. Slept well. He notices the discarded, emptied bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. Snack. Yeah, got any more? Was that really blood? Am I still human? Got any more? I did. Got any more? No, and don't expect sustenance to be this easy to find the next time. Come on, we've got places to be. The car is humming in an empty parking lot, just outside the door of the cramped room you've spent the day in. The man motions to it, politely, but with a stern look on his face. Rush the stranger, get inside the car, or hijack the car. I'm just kind of going along with everything, but it feels like the right thing to do. I'm not going to hijack the car. I know he's a kindred. I am too, I get. Okay, get inside the car. Okay, lead the way. After you. I don't want any more strikes. The baseball metaphor scared and confused me. You take the back seat again. The doors lock. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. Oh, there we are again. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time, you keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming and the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked, all right. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy, too. There's nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that Wait, we already did this. You try to extract some information out of the man behind the wheel, but you realize you'd prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it, but you spend the rest of the trip lost in your thoughts. A lot of them concern blood. Foxglove is just biding their time, waiting for a dramatically appropriate moment to do something dramatic. Yay, pride flags! Oh yeah, this feels as intense as the cab drive with Kane himself in Bloodlines. Those piercing dark eyes. It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. This is beautiful, by the way. All of this art has been incredible. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe? Wait, you know exactly where you are. The nice-looking two-story building has a logo you immediately recognize. The Art Hole, an avant-garde gallery used to hold that collection of bagged viscera and body parts by... you can't quite remember the guy's name. He's Brazilian, you think. Fabio something or another? After me. No sudden movements, please. You've never been inside, not quite your style, but the place has quite the cult following. You keep racking your brain for more facts, hoping they'll help you with whatever you got into. Two large men in suits flank the door to the gallery. Two large men in suits flank the door to the gallery on both sides, and they give your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the stranger who guides you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. About 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest in others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to appraise your worth. Memories come back to you like a bad case of PTSD. How many times before had someone judged you, impassively or decisively, through your own art? You'd share a piece of yourself with the world and it'd respond by making you feel like garbage. It always took a lot of effort to not lose your cool and tell all of them to shove their opinions up their collective asses. Now, looking around, it feels like you've become another artwork, as commodity to be judged by a bunch of obscenely wealthy, out-of-touch assholes. It makes you want to scream. Good evening, Kadir. And to you, child. The noble, cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery, a crowd of strangers, you being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, miss. Excuse me, what? Kadir, huh? Ooh, we could play it cool. Yeah, let's play it cool. So that's your name, Kadir? You are being addressed by the Prince of New York City, Helena Panhard, child of Michaela. Helen Panhard, child of Michaela. Turn your eyes to her when she is speaking. Hey, thanks for rating, Josephine. Yay, Sugar Cube Raid. Welcome, and the tone of today's stream is very dark and down because we're playing Coteries of New York, and it's very intense. I'm loving this so far. So welcome. Grab. We know that you're fans of tea over there at Josephine's stream, so grab your cup and snuggle up, and let's tell a vampire story. Fans up, Veneres. Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself. Oh, thank you. She's somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence, ooh, thank you, over these people. That much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. I don't understand. Remain silent, or my sire. Remain silent is probably the best choice here. So, ooh, you'll do Bruja. Nice, Joe. Remain silent. You decide it's best to stay silent and listen to the whole situation unfold. It feels like you're out of your depth here. Shall we begin? You are about to be judged by the court of New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe? A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. Interestingly, his sire made use of an older haven of one of the clan of the Rose for the embrace. They were even thoughtful enough to leave a local woman for the fledgling to slake his thirst on. Despite some, thank you, reservations, he offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. Oh, see, it was good to play along. I was pleased to not have to force his compliance. We had a quick chat, but, wishing to appear here post-haste, I urged him to join me, which he did without struggle, thank you. A pleasant departure from my usual routine, I must say. Yay! You can edit the name of it. Edit the name of what? The story of what? His thirst partially slaked with the bagged blood we kept in the safe house. We had a pleasant enough drive here. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes are on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take it into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there is a matter of your sire. The person who brought you where Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? Sire? Does it matter? A beautiful man. Ooh, I wanna say a beautiful man. Thank you. Gonna run and take a nap. Please go take a nap. Take care of yourself. Aye. He was beautiful. Charismatic, charming, dark hair, a sort of artistic mess. Had an accent I couldn't recognize. Oh, good to know. He took notice of my art, bought a piece, in fact. I want to meet him again. Thank you. Wow. Yay. Thanks for gifting. Wow. Amazing. The last sentence came out almost involuntarily. You immediately feel ashamed, sounding like a sad puppy whimpering after their master. Yes, you do want to meet that man again. It's an urge deeper than you've ever felt. Maybe even love? No, that's idiotic. He never even introduced himself to you. He used you. That asshole just plain used you. For what? Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. Can I go now? What happens now? He bought my painting. You can track him. Ooh, let's help out. He bought my painting. You can track him. That guy, he bought my painting at the gallery. Didn't pay in cash, I think. Maybe you can track him that way? Oh, did your outlook on him change all of a sudden? He smirks, seemingly enjoying your misery. Personal jabs aside, thank you for that observation. I will investigate this later. Yay, congratulations on all the sub-gifting. And with that, the fledgling has daddy issues. Boom. Should have been a Bruja. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I want all of you to take a note of this, especially everybody that is watching LA by Night. Announce season 4 coming soon. Boop boop. But for anybody that's like, you should turn so-and-so. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. I know we're not Camarilla, but if thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and the progeny shall be slain. We're following the Masquerade rules. These are the Masquerade rules. There you go. Someone clip this and point back to this whenever anybody suggests, oh, you should turn so-and-so. Anyway, I'll get off on my soapbox. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. So, quick question on this. Is it permission of the prince or just your liege? You need permission to do it. And that person needs permission to give you permission. So, however higher up it needs to go until someone is satisfied that they're not going to get killed by whoever's above them, that's who you need to get permission from. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom, and about 6 people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all this talk of traditions and council was, when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling? What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. We all know that the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight after all. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. Oh! He steps out of the room the way you came. And you're left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow you. Well then, fledgling, you're in quite the pickle. What do you mean? What was that about a sword? It seems like you two have a history. Hey, wait, did I hear that right? What did he say about a sword? Your hearing isn't faulty. We only have a short while before the prince hears her counsel out and Kadir returns here with his blade, so listen, please. Last night you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, I am well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred. Being embraced. Having a sire. The fact remains, the beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness, and not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night. There's no denying it. And your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still a vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, what the fuck, on repeat. You're surprised. This is how often it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down, sure as the day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and your deference to Kadir will work in your favor. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure that you face the consequences. What happens if I agree? What if I refuse? I don't want to die. Oh, goodness. Okay. What happens if I agree? Let's find out some of the terms. If I agree. Suppose I say yes. What happens then? You survive, hopefully. Or not, depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will be your guide in this new reality, and you will assist me like a child would a sire. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it weren't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight, I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. She briefly addresses you. I want you to know that this was not an easy decision to make. For your part, you have not done anything to earn our ire. I do feel a genuine sorrow for what must be done. We are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. There is no place for tolerating dissent when our very existence is under constant threat, although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before. a rather plainly dressed, shy-looking man, whose skin has somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace may be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that must be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautifully detailed blade, which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 out. Bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you note just a hint of sadness in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. You will not get another chance to speak up. Ask for mercy, escape the gallery, remain silent. Ask for mercy! You make your choice. I don't want to die! Spare me, please! Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer? Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? Yes, if I may. At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elites suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now, but Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction. My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance, they could become an asset to our domain. Am I to understand that you are volunteering to take this sireless child under your protection? Yes, I happen to think they might hold a potential that would be unfortunate to waste. I do expect their full cooperation, of course. Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two, a hushed, just behead the fucker. Some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence! I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide this fledgling and add a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. Remain silent. Give me a chance to prove myself, Prince. Or, wait, right of destruction? Ooh, hi, Alex. Yay! We did very different voices. That's great. I love that. I'm going to say give me a chance to prove myself, Prince. I'm liking this plucky little toreador named Foxglove. I'm worth keeping alive, Prince. Give me a chance to prove myself. That remains to be seen. I do take notice of your tenacity. See that it doesn't become a burden. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the Clan of the Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I can expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla. Substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley. Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? Ooh. Ooh. Oh, maybe this is what Josephine was talking about with changing the name. Foxglove, Prince, shouldn't I use a nickname? Is my artist moniker enough? Let's do this. Is my artist moniker enough? I'm a painter. I've used a moniker before. Would that suffice? You may use any name that's appropriate to be utilized in an official manner. My name is Foxglove, then. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla, Foxglove. Oh, thank you. Yay. Oh, so Hollyhock was very much in the middle between Camarilla Anarch. X is very much Anarch, and so now it's fun to do a Camarilla game. Now, this evening proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated, but with the fledglings' fate decided, I believe our meeting can here be concluded. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who can't make it. Could you have a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties? Of course, Prince. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. You will be judged. And if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Oh, my sample goal. Oh, that shouldn't be on there anyway. That is a holdover from something else. Anyway. Well, Foxglove, I think we're both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to our new fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierges, who have now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guests' glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. He pours it into 2 tall glasses. It's blood again, that much is clear. You're in 2 minds about drinking it, but the memory of last night's hunger makes you wince. You take a tentative sip. You expected the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago. Cheers! But this one you can actually savor. It's smoky and warm, making you think of a cozy cabin in the woods. It does strike you as a strange image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it is what it is. You've never tasted anything like it. Do you like it? I think NYC caterers have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like. Apologies, you must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. How much do I have to drink? Where do you get blood? People. Does the taste of blood matter? This is a great question. I want to ask this. Does the taste of blood matter? You seem to be a blood gourmet. Does the taste matter at all, or is it just about sustenance? Yes, I have grown somewhat choosy over the years, but it's mostly a result of growing accustomed to convenience. Of course, sustenance is most important, but finding a new exciting taste is one of the finest experiences our kind can pursue. That said, I also drank the blood of gangrene-ridden soldiers in field hospitals after the Battle of Gettysburg when I had no other choice. Not my fondest memory, but also the only reason I'm here. What you need to know right now is, no matter what manner of BL you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. That's probably blood. You can learn to control it, mind. Best start by taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satiating than most anything that can be served in a fancy glass, but it can make you more voracious. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. Tomorrow, I shall take you hunting, and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you at ease for now. About our sire-child relationship. What do you mean by hunting? You mentioned a beast. Let's find out about our relationship. The prince mentioned something about you and me being like sire and child. What does that mean? Prince Panhard, spared you on the condition that I take responsibility for you. Normally, a sire and child are close. One begets the other, after all. Our relationship might not be exactly that of a sire and child, but it is treated as such by our laws. That we do not share blood does not matter. You must therefore defer to me in all things. I don't wish to use the right of destruction that the prince granted me, so I will appreciate it if you don't give me a reason to. I promised I'd guide you, and I meant it. Treat me as your mentor and superior, and I will treat you as my loyal retainer and understudy. With me, you can go far. Without me, you will be lost to the unfeeling night, and we can't have that. Those of us unaccounted for can easily become a danger to the Masquerade. That's the main reason why, with your sire gone, the prince wanted you out of the picture too. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude. which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A similar eagerness to spend time with this person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. Your sixth sense tells you she's an artistic soul too, and you unwittingly start projecting good qualities onto her. Sophie leads you to, wow, her eyes are gorgeous too! But that driver cannot see anything out of that back rearview mirror, the rearview mirror. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. She's sassier in my voice. Where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the Masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. To the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. I would too. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. What's the risk? Is your driver a vampire too? Is there anything the movies get right? What's the risk? What's the worst that could happen if you're a vampire? I'm sure you could defeat any threat that comes your way. I get this all the time too. It would surely make things easier if we could. Unfortunately for us, there are plenty of things that can harm us. Chief among them are sunlight and fire. Both will burn you to ash. That's why we rest during the day. You felt it, I'm sure. That it's more like being dead than being dormant. But we have no choice. We are night dwellers, but day sleepers. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which, under the right circumstances, can often be the same thing. That's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver, Gregory, making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have so many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight. So it's good to keep human friends? Do vampires watch each other's backs? So it's vampires versus humans. You mentioned enemies. I guess that it makes it necessary to watch each other's backs, right? Can you count on other vampires for that? She surprises you by letting out a soft chuckle before answering. No. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it really doesn't...
I found this on the web.
No! Siri was looking up vampire for me, thanks. Gregory, associated with the Toreadors? Has Nellie been sharing her ghoul around? Ooh, maybe. But how did Gregory get to New York? Actually, airplanes. That's how those work. Support given in exchange for favors, yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does not occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. When you're in Elysium, like we were tonight, the sect can appear to be a monolith. The reality is much more complex. Outside of official gatherings, shady deals and a quid pro quo mentality reign supreme. She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, But as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the only one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. The car stops. You are in the city in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? My own apartment? Neat! Is it another parking lot room? What if I want to sleep in my home? My own apartment? I get my own apartment? That's neat. Consider it the first of many gifts that I'm able to grant in exchange for loyalty. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Ms. Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. Look at this art. It's so pretty. I love it. Oh, I love that wallpaper. Okay, anyway. The back room is a comfortable-looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy-looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? This is great, thank you. What, can I choose another? Not bad. Could use some redecorating. This is great, thank you. I'm grateful. I'm glad. Make yourself at home. Tomorrow I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors, just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food either. Hey! Feels strange that Kadir could be a more thoughtful host than your new sire, even if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns. Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. Oh. President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. That's unbelievable. Pundits start yelling over each other about two things that seemed a little less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle into the back room. The bed is comforting, the lack of windows less so. You leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realize it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. A few minutes later, your consciousness, thank you, fades and you take the plunge into darkness again. Sinking, sinking, sinking. Whoa. New York. What do these do? Is that... Oh, the log, okay. And then this is the dictionary, right? Yeah. Cool. Rest. Hunger lies at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over your actions in its desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade as well as staining what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, having high hunger is indicated by progressively bigger bloody frame around the screen. Oh! Look at it! Like the one you see now. As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers or when you need to mend your own wounds after a fight. When your hunger reaches the maximum amount, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices may only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, a high hunger may block off some choices, as you will be able to see after pressing continue. Okay? Blocked off option, continue. To decrease hunger, you will need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. Blocked off option or feeding opportunity. You will need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. Oh. You open your eyes. The bed isn't warm. The room is filled with the artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally, you'd stretch for a bit. On some mornings, you'd probably throw the quilt over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you are fully conscious. No grogginess, nothing weighing you down, just the nagging need in the back of your head. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. You get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time, 9:04 p.m. You walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is NYC's artificial nighttime luminescence. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You miss the sunlight already. You're seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this all out by yourself, but then you come back to the memory of Kadir's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. Maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. You keep jumping channels for around half an hour and then switch to some streaming services. Hey! Almost as if the universe had a sense of irony, you catch True Blood in the flood of recommendations. Hey, Deb! The doorbell rings. It's Sophie. Good evening, Foxglove. Slept well? Like a baby. Like a dead man. It's not exactly sleep, right? It's not really like normal sleep, is it? I suppose it isn't. Some say it's more like being dead. But we wouldn't know, would we? It's no use reflecting on it anyway, except that this is now who you are. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself, your blood, its desires and its power. We will begin tonight. You are hungry, yes. I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There is only one remedy, the blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way you slake your thirst. So tonight, I will assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kinds of vulnerabilities to your advantage. I'm ready to learn. No more freebies? Predator and prey, huh? Grim. So let me get this straight. We are predators, humans are prey. That's pretty grim. Try the corpse in the oven with the peppers and the fur. I know what you feel. I remember the notion, but you will inevitably grow beyond it. You need blood to thrive, but there are many ways to take it. Some more humane than others. You will find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think of yourself as monstrous, but there is a balance to be found here. The kiss gives the kind pleasure. You might remember this from your own embrace. Some can even become addicted to the sensation. But if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. After all, vampires do not exist. They are myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays, correct? She gives you a sly, knowing smile. Little sister. That's right, from the chorus of voices from the Malkavian run of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 1. That's why the Masquerade is so important, and even more crucial when you feed. How do you avoid being seen? How do you cover your tracks? How do you select a victim? How do I choose who to feed from? Are there better or worse targets? Isolated kine are easiest prey, of course, but much depends on context. Hunting requires a different approach in a busy club than it does on an empty street. With time, you will have the luxury of finding your preference in hunting methods and prey. For now, I suggest experimenting. In moderation. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can get dangerous, but by branching out, you risk the ire of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Luckily for you, NYC is more forgiving in this regard. New York is somewhat of a unique position. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you can hunt cautiously and respect the masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs. Gregory is waiting for us. The busy street, thank you. We need to send her to culinary school. The little sister. The busy street fills the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? It takes a nudge from Sophie to break you from your train of thought. Her driver opens the door for her and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thinned New York traffic. It's still busy in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be, but compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. You barely have the time to gather your thoughts and formulate a new question before the car comes to a stop. You're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. You feel a pang of emotion as you realize this is where you took part in the exhibition just 2 nights prior. Same address and, you suspect, same hall. To what end has it been repurposed tonight? Come, Foxglove, pick the car. Park the car, Gregory, would you? The driver just nods, and Sophie gets out. You join her, and the two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back, then take in the few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seeming concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse that she flashes in front of a security guard. You follow close, and are let through without issue. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Now let's see here. Ah, there he is. She notices someone in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come here, please. My girl. Julie, my girl. There is someone I'd like you to meet. My girl. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is Foxglove. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. Victor, my boy. Julia, my girl. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods toward the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. I know what she expects you to do. You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're, I mean that you know. She puts her wrist to her lips and gives herself a theatrical dip. Then she looks to you, embarrassed, but also hopeful? Yeah, I do. I don't know what you're talking about. Wait, you're into that sort of thing? Wait, are you into this sort of thing? She blushes, looks down at the floor, nods. Could you, if you'd like. Miss Langley tells me she swallows hard, avoids your eyes. That I taste nice. Drink from Julie? Don't drink from Julie. We gonna drink from my girl Julie. You take her forearm in your hands. A quick look around confirms nobody's watching, and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down, gently. It's surreal. She's just given you her blood from her own volition. It's surreal. She's just given you her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. Your thoughts disappear amid the bliss. There's just the taste. Sweet, fresh, sanguine. You drink. And drink. And drink. Stop, 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 stop. No, stop, stop, stop! You tear away from the girl harder than you wanted. Still, the bite leaves just tiny punctures, almost as if by instinct you lick them clean, and the two holes become concealed, just like that. Julie is now leaning on the wall, pale, wobbly on her feet, but happy? She lets out a dreamy sigh, opens her eyes. A few tears fall onto her shirt, tears of joy. Thank you. Please, can you walk me downstairs? Please. Oh, my dad. He doesn't know. Thinks it's a condition. Miss Langley told him so. She leans on you and requests you walk her over to a bench. She takes a seat and smiles at you. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly. Looking at her now, only some residual awe hangs in the air. Yeah, she's pretty, maybe even beautiful, sure, but not your type. What came over you before? You walk over to her. Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you, but we need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come on, come with Foxglove. Gregory is waiting for you out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you. I can tell by your look that you took the opportunity. Good for you. That girl's exquisite, don't you think? You wouldn't tell by her demeanor, but she has so much passion. It brings out a unique bouquet in her blood. Her blood was delicious. She knows who we are. I feel like I took advantage of her. It feels wrong. I feel like I violated her, like I took advantage of her. Oh, please, spare me your dramatics. I'm sure she was happy sharing herself. She's such a sheltered girl. Let her have fun from time to time. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off this time. Gregory, Flushing Meadows, please. The driver takes the car over the Williamsburg Bridge. You settle your thoughts. What did you do to the people back there? Yeah, let's learn about abilities. What's that about training wheels? Why Flushing Meadows? Yeah, give me some abilities to do. Those people back at the hall, they were all entranced. Even I was under your spell. What was that? She smiles with satisfaction. That old trick. Just the blood doing my bidding. We all have our talents. Some of them come from the legacy we inherit from our sire. Others can be learned with experience. I can sway people or make them fear me. I see more of the world in greater detail than some kindred. I can will my body to move with unparalleled precision and grace. And more. All of these skills make me who I am. They also help me hunt. What are my powers? How do I use my powers? Do I need my powers to hunt? How exactly do I use these talents? You will the blood to do your bidding. Many times you'll find you do these things intuitively, almost passively, but making an entire room focus their attention on you, that is tempting the beast. Always keep in mind the masquerade. However, it is all fine if you can disappear in plain sight or command animals with your mind, but save those overt talents for the right place and time. It only takes you half an hour to reach the park at this time of night. Both you and Sophie leave the car, with Gregory left behind again to find a parking spot and keep an eye on the car. Sophie seems deep in thought. She takes in the surroundings with a dreamy gaze. The sky is surprisingly clear tonight. the stars just barely visible in the light-polluted aura of the city. I feel like having a snack myself. I'll be by the fountain. Go, look for somebody to your liking. See what effects you can achieve with your blood. But only pick one victim, just one. Then come back. Seeing how she seems not altogether right now, you decide to leave Sophie on her own to her own devices and seek out your prey. From here, it looks like you have a few choices. Just taking a stroll around the park and finding an isolated jogger or someone like them could work, but focusing on one area might work better. The New York State Pavilion might work as a secluded spot. There's a skate park nearby, and worst case scenario, there's bound to be some unfortunate wino around. Or maybe the tennis courts nearby? There's light coming from there, so somebody might still be playing a late night match. They won't be alone, but they might be tired and let their guard down. As these scenarios play out in your mind, you realize you're planning on how to assault a stranger in the middle of the night. It's a weird way to be, but the now familiar hunger prompts you to act. Okay, so... oh, gosh. Also, we're coming up towards the end of the stream. Unfortunately, it's in about 15 minutes. But we're going to be rating another channel within the community that will be live at that time. So keep an eye out for me. Make some suggestions in the chat, and we will raid them as soon as we are done here today. This has been so much fun. I'm loving this. I'm having the best time. So hopefully you are too. Avian is arting. That would be a great way. Vanna is also on. Great, great, great. We'll see who's still on by the time we finish, and then we'll raid over to see where we want to go. Great. So for now, do we want to search for a victim around the park, hunt near the decrepit pavilion, look for prey at the tennis courts, or take a walk but don't feed? She did ask us to choose one victim. I feel like the tennis courts is a bad idea because there would probably be multiple people. Skate park sounds like the safest option, or the pavilion. Good call. Yay! Oh, thanks for coming by, Floppy Jalopy. The pavilion seems like the most isolated. Even at the skate park, there might be other people. That seems the best to me. You make your way to one of the park's most well-known landmarks, the round skeleton of the New York State Pavilion, with its two vaguely futuristic-looking towers. You don't get lucky with the skate park. It's not deserted. Instead, a group of skaters is gathered there, talking loudly and listening to music playing out of a crackling smartphone speaker. Deciding to have a quick look around, you identify a potential victim. A sleeping bag lady leaned back on a bench, a shopping cart full of what looks like trash nearby. Even thinking of that second option makes you feel sick. You decide to take your chances with the skaters, not even getting close to the homeless woman. You think back to what Sophie did in the hall, how she managed to focus the attention of the entire group gathering on her. That might be a tall order for you, but a single person could be doable. You single out a guy who's talking on his phone away from the gathering. He's having a heated discussion with somebody. A relative? A partner? It's not going well. This talk's over! I said shut the fuck up! Hey, you hearing me? Shut up! Call me when you get some fucking sense in your stupid brain, okay? He ends the call abruptly and almost throws the phone to the ground in frustration. Rough night? Hey, sorry to interrupt. Hey man, I need some help. Rough night? He's got an angry expression on his face and tears welling in his eyes, but he gives you a curious look and even a bit of a shy smile. Yeah, you could say that. What's up? Come closer, let's talk. I got just the cure for that downer. I want to show you something. I got just the cure for that downer. I got something that'll put a smile on your face. He takes a few steps forward, away from his buddies, who remain totally oblivious to what's happening, but you see your influence fading. You take your chance and lunge. Hey! Your fangs sink into his exposed shoulder. He shivers and lets out a moan. His phone hits the pavement and you hear the casing crack. His blood tastes like a clash of hot emotion and melancholy, laced with some artificial stimulant you can't quite place. An energy drink? A recreational drug? It's a strange mix. You hardly have the chance to savor it, as the proximity of the skater's friends makes you feel vulnerable. You hastily finish drinking and drag the guy over to the pavilion. When you turn around, you realize you're not alone. A hooded man is looking menacingly at you. What do you think you're doing, barging on my turf like this, Lick? Lick? What kind of slur is that? Didn't mean to trespass, I'm gone. Piss off or else. I heart beer. Didn't mean to trespass, I'm gone. I'm sorry. Too late for that, friendo. You want to leave here in one piece? You talk. Candidly. I know what you are, so you can shove that Masquerade misdirection up your ass. Now, better tell me who you're with before my posse shows up and we beat it out of you. I'm with the Camarilla. I'm here with Sophie Langley. Big talk coming from a chump. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You talk big, but I'm thinking you're just a chump. Want to prove me wrong? He tenses up, giving you an extremely nasty look, and bares his fangs. You don't want to push your luck, dumb fuck. My crew is in earshot one shout away, and you're D-O-N-E done. You get what I'm saying? So if you want to dance, let's dance. Once I'm through, I'm going to hand you over to Callahan, and you're going to be sorry I didn't finish you off instead. Celerity. I have celerity. Run back to Sophie. Fast. You take off. Fast. Faster than you've ever run. The hoodlum has trouble keeping up, but howls behind you like an animal and gives chase anyway. Uh-oh. As you reach the Unisphere again, you slow down, noticing two people near the sculpture. A man and a woman tangled in a passionate embrace. No, not exactly. It's Sophie, feeding. But this whole scene is set up so that it looks like a couple getting intimate in public. She pulls it off like she's done it 100 times before. It occurs to you that she probably has. The man is unsure on his feet as she lets go of him and leads him towards a nearby bench. Noticing you, she whispers something into his ear and leaves him. Her driver appears from behind a tree. Well, Foxglove, how did it go? You're about to answer when the same figure as before emerges from one of the alleys. He looks at the three of you, and a predatory smile creeps into his lips. You thought you could run away from me, Lick? Think you'll be safe with your friends? Well, I have friends too. He makes a motion to shout, but two things happen almost at the same time. First, that feeling of warmth and beauty emanating from Sophie flares up again, entrancing both you and the hooded thug. His shout comes out as a weak, confused squeak. Ow! Second, Gregory produces a wooden stake from a holster under his jacket and slams it into the thug's chest. Just like that, in a few seconds, the posturing vampire is down on the ground, paralyzed. I see you've made a friend, Foxglove. Curious choice of company, I would say. Who is he? He knew I was a vampire. He said this was his turf. He mentioned a Callahan. Yep, let's give information. He said something about presenting me to someone named Callahan. Ever heard of him? She looks shocked for a split second, then recovers her regular countenance. Yes, I have. This hoodlum is Anarch, then. Curious. Corona Park has not been claimed by any kindred last I checked. Let's go to the car. We'll put him in the trunk and present him to Kadir tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll be delighted to make this unbound's acquaintance. Gregory carries the staked vampire and dumps him in the car's trunk like a mannequin. It's a strange sight, and you're quite happy you're not in the poor fucker's shoes right now. It's almost surprising that you can get away with just casually throwing a stiff into your car and driving away, but then you remember that Sophie has been doing this far longer than you have. Still, the nagging thought that anything you did tonight could have been recorded on a CCTV camera or picked up by a rando with a half-decent smartphone and streamed online fills you with dread. Hunting and using your abilities is a dangerous business. It's clear that this whole being a vampire thing is about as many caveats as it has perks. You're taken out of your headspace by Sophie's voice. I'll pick you up tomorrow night, same as tonight. I have some business to attend to at Elysium, and I expect you to accompany me. Plus, our friend is back. Our friend in the back needs to be properly introduced to Kadir and the Prince. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say to the court. Her voice is cold, cruel, and nothing like the enchanting personality she showed at the gallery earlier tonight. Sophie is clearly a woman of many faces. What's going to happen to him? Good riddance, that guy's an asshole. I'd do the same thing in his place. What's going to happen to him? The usual, I imagine. Interrogation by Kadir, probably in the basement of the gallery. A quick trial with the prince in attendance, and if she's there tomorrow night, a swift execution as the verdict. This all sounds eerily familiar to you, and you can't help but feel a pang of guilt when you think about what awaits this guy tomorrow night. You haven't told me how your hunting went. Getting the hang of it, I would hope. It'll take some getting used to. I'll need time to get used to this. It doesn't come naturally. It will with time. You need to think about it less. Hunting is the one scenario in which you'll do well to trust your instincts. In moderation, of course. She seems distracted, not at all there. Not all there. Her thoughts drift, and the car remains silent until you reach your apartment. We will pick you up tomorrow evening. Good night. Just like that, without any further courtesy, Sophie leaves, driven to her apartment by Gregory, with a body in the trunk, right in the middle of Manhattan. Did you cross paths with situations like this in the past, unknowingly? What other secrets did you pass on the streets without knowing their true nature? Dun 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 dun. I think that's where I'm gonna try to... Does it autosave? I think it autosaves. Save and exit. Sweet. Okay. And we're back. This was great. I'm having a great time. I know it's a little bit different than the stream normally is with Hollyhock Dogberry, but I think it's beautiful, and I think it's well written, and I'm having a good time with the voices. Let me know what you think. I'm just like basing them off of the first picture that I see, so it's going to be an interesting experiment. It's a great stopping point. Yes, I will continue next week, same time at 4 p.m. on this channel. Hopefully, I won't get hacked next time. That's a story for later if you're just tuning in. But yeah, we'll raid over to AVN. Let's do it here. Raid AVN _Anderson. If you haven't followed Avian already, make sure that you do. She's an amazing artist. You might recognize some of her fan art from We're Alive Frontier, as well as some other shows. And let's see, she's going to be streaming art probably, so make sure that you're active in the chat and that you give her suggestions. I loved what you guys did yesterday with the Pokemon from Pokemondays. And yeah, so we'll see you next time. I forgot to set it. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. I'll be back on Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific time for Pokemon. Back here Tuesday at 4 p.m. for Vampire. Let's do it. Raid now. Bye-bye. Thank you.